So it's spring 2014, and we're really actively working with community members to make sure they're prepared for spring runoff.
So we're encouraging residents to prepare themselves for an all-hazards approach to emergency preparedness.
So one of the things we learned after the 4 Mile Canyon fire was the importance of community preparedness and individual preparedness. And we're expanding that preparedness message to all parts of the county now, because this flood touched all of us.
A couple of things we know about what's going to happen with the spring runoff is that we are going to see an increased flow in the creeks and rivers in Boulder County. We are going to see some debris movement.
Residents are going to need to be aware of the potential risks that are going to be impacting them during spring runoff. Flash flooding with very little to no warning is going to be a really big issue, so residents need to be aware of that.
It's important that the community keeps an eye up and down these river basins, reports things that they see, especially if they look like they're developing into potential hazard. Call that into the 911 center.
It's important for every resident to have a plan of what they're going to do during an emergency situation, whether they're at home or at the workplace or whether their kids are at school. Knowing what you're going to do, how you're going to communicate with one another is extremely important, but it's also important to know whether you're going to stay in place or evacuate.
If it's a flood, we're going to be telling you to climb to safety. We don't want you driving in your car, driving down a drainage, because people end up dying in their vehicles because they get washed away.
Prepare an evacuation route, a safety route for you and your family from your home, and practice that.
Having 2 evacuation routes is extremely important outside of the home and immediate area, and also having a meeting location outside the home where everyone can congregate will be really essential.
The other type of message you might get would be an evacuation notice on a landslide. If we know we've got unstable hillsides, we don't want you staying in your house perhaps. We may want to move you out and evacuate you to a safe location. So it's important to listen to the message you're going to get, and it's important to follow the instructions of that message, and that'll increase your chances of not being injured and also, more importantly, not being killed when these type of threats maybe are impacting the community.
Yeah, there's many ways for residents to stay informed in case of a possible disaster. The best way is to sign up for boco911alert.com, and another good way to stay informed is also to get a NOAA weather radio. If you should have to evacuate your home very quickly, it's important to have a go bag that you can take with you, toss it in the car, and have all the main items that you're going to need to survive for the next few days. Keeping an emergency kit at home is a really good idea, so you can shelter in place for at least 72 hours. During the disaster, the 2013 September floods, some residents in Lyons and other places in the county had to shelter in place for 4 days. So having food, having water, having some basic items in place at the home is going to make you a lot more comfortable should the disaster occur. You can find a list of all the items recommended for your emergency kit at boulderoem.com.
We are really urging people to inquire about purchasing flood insurance. Given the experience we had in the fall, we know that a lot more people are in harm's way in terms of flooding, and everyone is eligible in the county for flood insurance, and so we are really urging people to go to floodsmart.gov and purchase flood insurance.